Just ahead on Destination Texas, the story of the state told in song, the musical performed in a majestic location, plus an iconic spot to get a unique perspective on the state's natural beauty. It's known as Top of the Rock, where you could take your family to get gorgeous views of the Texas Hill Country. And a look at a place in Houston that took man to the moon, what the NASA Space Center has to offer. Welcome to Destination Texas. I'm Kristen Curry. In the next half hour, we'll take you across the state to check out fun places to visit this vacation season. We start with our trip in the Texas Hill Country. Enchanted Rock is an iconic spot with amazing views, and it's a great place for visitors looking to climb, camp, and gaze at the stars. 7 peaks, over 18,000 feet in elevation, and located just outside of the Austin area, Enchanted Rock is a dream destination for those looking for views of Texas's wide open hill country.
This is a magical, mystical place. It's been here for millions and millions of years.
It's about an hour and a half outside of Austin, a family-friendly hike that gives you a 360-degree view of the Texas Hill Country. With over 11 miles of hiking trails, the state park is fun for both experienced or beginner hikers. What was once part of a large pool of magma now provides hiking, climbing, camping, and stargazing for the over 300,000 annual visitors. From base to summit, the hike up to the top of the rock is about 6/10 of a mile, or about 40 flights of stairs, taking an average person about 45 minutes.
We have 3-year-olds do it, and we have 70-plus-year-olds doing it. So it can be done.
And although the views get the attention, don't look past the wildflowers growing amongst the granite. Rainfall that pools in low-lying spots in the rock not only helps plants like the rock quillwort thrive, but it also provides a home for fairy shrimp, tiny translucent freshwater shrimp that live in the vernal pools. Enchanted Rock is open year-round, and park officials advise coming when the weather tends to be a bit cooler, like a fall evening, winter afternoon, or summer morning.
It's like a challenge. It's like a bucket list type deal to come up to the top of Enchanted Rock.
Now, one important thing to know about Enchanted Rock, it's a very popular place, and there are limits to how many people are allowed in each day. So to guarantee that you can get into the park, it's a good idea to reserve a pass before you come. You can do that online or by calling the park's customer service center. Our next stop takes us to Palo Duro Canyon in the Panhandle. For the last 57 years, the Texas Outdoor Musical has put on a Texas-sized production telling the story of the state's first settlers, cowboys, and ranchers. Rochelle Hamilton Jr. takes us to the iconic Pioneer Amphitheater for a closer look.
For Stephen Crandall, it's a Texas-sized reunion for him and the Texas Musical.
I was very excited to be a part of a production that means a lot to me.
Crandall got his first taste of Texas as an actor, playing the role of Calvin Armstrong from 1999 to 2001, returning to the iconic musical last season as artistic director.
I enjoyed the opportunity to tell the story of the early Texas settling in this way. We embraced some return of some original sort of elements of the show.
Texas tells the story of the Panhandle in the late 1880s, covering everything from cowboys and ranchers, the railroad industry coming in, and much more.
There's a lot of comedic elements, there's a lot of dramatic elements. It's a love story.
All of it in front of a live audience at the famous Pioneer Amphitheater, located in majestic Palo Duro Canyon. The energy of opening night unmatched. Brian Cooner plays the role of Uncle Henry.
That opening night audience, they know that they are the first people that get to see this, this current version of the show, and their excitement, you literally can feel it when we hit the stage.
He's in his 20th season with the musical, his 16th in the role of Uncle Henry.
Uncle Henry is the rancher of the area. He is a man that is very set in his ways.
But a good show isn't the only thing audiences can look forward to.
We offer a dinner in addition to your ticket, so that's Fat Boys Barbecue, so you get some local barbecue.
A Texas-sized setting.
All of that mixture of elements to me make Texas a really unique and awesome experience to see.
For a Texas-sized story, in Canyon, Rochelle Hamilton Jr., Destination Texas.
Our next destination takes us to College Station and a place that honors a president from the Lone Star State. The George H.W. Bush Presidential Library and Museum is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Now, the library features more than 100,000 artifacts and a set of permanent and rotating exhibits. Renako G shows us why it's a great place to learn about America's past.
You can step into history in an educational and interactive way by visiting the George Bush Library and Museum.
We welcome everyone to come and tour the library and experience the museum.
Celebrating its 25-year milestone, the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library and Museum is a free destination stop for history lovers and those wanting to learn more about one of the U.S.'s most impactful leaders, drawing in tourists like Jane Townsend from St. Louis.
I just like everything. It's really interesting to kind of go through the whole history of each president and the presidency and see what they've done. And there's a lot of things they've done that you don't really know that they've done. And then I especially enjoy seeing all the information about the First Ladies.
The Rich in History Museum and Library offers multiple exhibits narrating the late former president's life, fun scavenger hunts and interactive zones for kids, all while capturing some of the most significant history from his term in an engaging way. You can also find replicas of the rooms former President Bush used to occupy, to an actual piece of the Berlin Wall, and the multiple legacies from his term that are still prevalent to this day. Marketing and Communications Director Amy Rains shares a piece of information that a lot of people might not know.
The Bushes are buried here. Their gravesite is a short, maybe quarter of a mile walk. So that's very interesting that they chose to be buried here and are buried here.
The George H.W. Bush Presidential Library and Museum is age-friendly and is always holding events. You can learn more about your next visit by checking out their website, bush41.org. For Destination Central Texas, I'm Renako G.
Coming up, a look at the place that helped put man on the moon, what you can find at the NASA Space Center, plus finding fun underwater. We'll show you an East Texas destination that offers a deep dive into adventure. But first, dinosaurs, fossils, and more. The museum that's drawing worldwide attention for its prehistoric finds. Welcome back to Destination Texas. Since opening in 2014, the Whiteside Museum of Natural History has earned attention from paleontologists from around the world. The museum features fossils from the Permian era about 287 million years ago. Dylan Jimenez has a look into how you can learn about the giants of the past.
There was a land before time.
Having a small museum with such an important scientific museum is really special for a small community.
Fin-backed dimetrodons roaming across the lands of Texas, and Seymour is the perfect spot to get your paleontology fix to study fossils of the Permian era, some 287 million years ago.
Historically, this county's been dug since about 1878. Not many of the folks in this area realize that these fossils were here, and that's one of the problems with a large museum taking the fossils and going to different parts of the world. At least with Seymour now, all these incredible natural history treasures are going to stay in this community forever.
But it's not all just dinos and fossils. Other exhibits like the African Hall, Hall of Texas Wildlife, and more fill the museum for plenty to learn.
One of the things we love about our museum is we provide a metropolis-style museum to a small community.
When the museum opened up, it was just another opportunity for kids and the youth to use for their futures. So, it was just another opportunity for science.
An iron in the fire for Seymour native Mackenzie Donnell. Donnell started in the museum's gift shop, but quickly grew an interest in paleontology. From digs all the way to the research lab, she's made the most of the museum.
We're discovering new things every single day. Even here, we're discovering new things. The more we get into it and the more we learn, the more we can change the past ideas.
As one of the few small museums to offer an inside look at the lab, people can watch as they work to break off caliche to piece together history that leads to a more understanding of where we came from as mammals.
Some of the most important fossils we're finding are those that are the fin-back, sailback dimetrodon. They are closely related to mammals like us than they are to dinosaurs. So with the really complete skeletons that we're finding, and currently we have a few really incredible big full complete skeletons.
We have people come here from all over the world. Not just all over the country, but all over the world. The stuff that we study here, we're the best place in the world to study it.
Expanding science in a small town, one fossil at a time. For Destination Texas and Seymour, I'm Dylan Jimenez.
That makes my science heart very happy to see that. The expansion will be adding new exhibits in classrooms in 2024. One of those new exhibits will be a look back at the Ice Age. Well, coming up, a look at the artifacts from humanity's trip to the moon, the out-of-this-world fun at the NASA Space Center. First, one part of the Lone Star State is making a name for itself in the wine world, but the location of this destination may surprise you. Welcome back to Destination Texas. You don't have to go all the way to Italy to see lush vineyards and taste great wine. You can just go to Lubbock. That's right, the home of Texas Tech is also a big part of Texas's wine country. Matt Stell has more on just how well those grapes grow in Lubbock.
Over the last decade or so, Raiderland has added another nickname.
Red wine country out here.
Yeah, you heard that right. Lubbock is gradually becoming the new wine capital of Texas. How so, you might ask?
Wine does well because grapes do well here, wine grapes specifically. And the reason is because of our climate and our elevation and the amount of, believe it or not, the wind.
And those factors explain why 80% of wine grapes grown in Texas come straight from the high plains, making Lubbock and its surrounding areas a hot spot for wineries.
When we have good years, like this year's shaping up to be, we can really do some special things out in the vineyards. As long as you know what you're doing in the cellars, you don't mess it up, we can make some pretty, head-turning wines, hit some home runs.
Llano Estacado is one of Lubbock's oldest and most popular wineries. You've probably seen one of their bottles in your local grocery store.
A lot of people don't even, know that Llano is from Lubbock. They think we're from Llano in Central Texas.
While you can sit outside and enjoy the West Texas sun with a rosé or a Riesling, a tour inside lets you see the bottling process from start to finish.
A lot of the times it's people passing through Colorado, New Mexico, or they're coming up for a football game. Sure. I mean, they'll lose to the Raiders, Red Raiders, of course, but And a lot of the times they're leaving with wine and a smile on their face and telling their friends that, hey, this Texas wine thing, it's not amateur hour anymore. It's pretty good.
So if you're a vinophile planning to travel this summer, be sure to stop in the 806 for a glass you won't forget. For Destination Texas, I'm Matt Stell.
And if you've ever visited the wine country here in the Texas Hill Country right along Wine Road 290, a lot of those grapes that the wineries use actually come from the high plains of West Texas. All right, we are heading south for our next destination. San Angelo is nestled in the Concho Valley and has quite a few unique attractions. Historic downtown is filled with shops and restaurants, paths along the river, and more. Sonora Scott shows us some of the newest sights you can see and explore.
San Angelo was recently named the Visual Arts Capital of Texas. With new artwork popping up all over the city, it doesn't take long to understand why. Nearly a dozen new murals were just completed. You and your family will have a blast finding them all and snapping a few photos, creating your own personal art. If the outdoors is calling your name, you can take a dip in Lake Nasworthy, and right next door is the San Angelo Nature Center. There, you can learn about animals native to West Texas and even meet a few friends who are from other parts of the nation and the world. Creepy, crawly, furry, or feathers, whatever you'd like to learn about, the San Angelo Nature Center has you covered.
If you're looking to make some sweet memories with your family and maybe reminisce about a few of your own, this next stop is for you.
Hey guys, welcome to Froyo and Sweets downtown. So we actually have 10 flavors of frozen yogurt. We change them seasonally and periodically. In addition to being a frozen yogurt shop, we also are a candy shop. So we currently hold freeze-dried candy, which is actually the latest and greatest version of your favorite candies. We have a ton of nostalgic candy. We also have trending candy.
Speaking of trending and the latest and greatest, this shop is one of many new hotspots that just opened within the last year. There's so much to do in the oasis of West Texas, so fuel up for lots of fun. For Destination Texas in San Angelo, I'm Sonora Scott.
Well, still to come, the depth of discovery. We'll check out a place where you can experience underwater adventures, and it's home base for the discovery of the Final Frontier, the destination that lets you explore the past and future of the space race. Our next stop on Destination Texas takes us to Houston in the NASA Space Center. It's home not only to artifacts like one of the last Saturn V rockets, but also to the Artemis mission, which hopes to take us farther than we've ever been into space. Seth Kovar has more on what to expect when visiting one of the places that took humanity to space.
It doesn't matter if you're a local, Houston, from out of state,
I'm from Illinois,
or even a different country.
Living in Sri Lanka. I'm from Japan.
Space is for everyone, and there's no better place to explore it than Space Center Houston. From the newest exhibits detailing America's newest space missions to celebrating the unbelievable accomplishments of the past, there's something for every adventurer here.
I have a dream. One time I can join the spaceship, but actually I cannot. So I just come here to pretend I'm a spaceship astronaut.
It might be a cliche to say they're expecting an out-of-this-world experience, but I found this out just today. They have a luggage storage room here. People travel to Houston, and before they even check into their hotels, they have to check out Space Center Houston. If it's your first visit, head straight for Starship Gallery. A short film tells you what all it took to land the first humans on the moon, but that's just the beginning. Further into the exhibit are actual spacecraft from those missions, including the command module for Apollo 17, the last time we went to the moon more than 50 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Returning to the moon and eventually exploring Mars are what Artemis is all about, and that mission's now also on full display at Space Center Houston. So whether it's the future or the past of mankind exploring the heavens, this place has it all.
I thought it would be a fun experience to look at the NASA experiments and all this stuff.
Seth Kovar in Houston for Destination Texas.
This is so awesome. That is definitely on my Texas bucket list, to see the actual capsule from Apollo 17 in person. Pretty astounding. The center offers several tours, including places like the original mission control for the Apollo program and even the building where they're currently designing and testing equipment for the Artemis mission.
A lot of people don't expect this kind of a place to be in the middle of East Texas. There's not a lot of places like this.
A hidden gem for folks seeking a deeper dive. We'll hit the water in East Texas and check out a place where you can gear up for adventure under the surface. Welcome back to Destination Texas. For our final stop, we take you to a hidden gem in East Texas. It's a place where you can get in the water and leave your worries behind and maybe see a sunken airplane or two. Lauren Margolis takes us to Athens Scuba Park and dives into all the fun.
If you enjoy a little adventure under the sea, you may love taking a dive at Athens Scuba Park.
A lot of people don't expect this kind of a place to be in the middle of East Texas. There's not a lot of places like this.
Built in 1986 on the land of a former clay brick factory, this lake holds a lot of history.
About 1950, the plant shut down because they hit a spring. And basically it just became just a pit with water in it, but it was crystal clear.
Founder Calvin Wilcher knew this would be the best spot to start his unique business.
I was very enthusiastic about diving, loved to dive, I still do, and I've been diving for almost 60 years.
We have an all-inclusive lake here on site, we have our own private classroom, and we have our training pool all in one location, which you don't find that a lot.
And 37 years later, it's still family owned and operated.
We all have different strengths that we bring to the table, and it all just meshes really well together.
There's lots to see above and underwater with camping, kayaking, and of course, scuba diving.
Our jets, so they're all 60 foot plus. We have a lot of sailboats that are 35 to 45 foot.
And if you've never been scuba diving before like me, this is the perfect place to learn and get certified.
We have over 8 instructors now, so we got classes running all the time.
Now it was time to give it a try myself.
This is going to stretch just like that.
We headed to the training pool to learn how it's done. Instructors go at your pace, and once you pass your course, you're certified for life. Lauren Margolis in Athens for Destination Texas.
Now, the park also includes hookups for RV camping, as well as spots for tent and hammock camping. The dive shop there also rents out all the equipment you need to scuba dive, so you don't have to buy or bring your own before coming. Thank you again for joining us for Destination Texas. I'm Kristen Curry. Until next time, good luck and safe travels.